in a small, lively village of Atala, bordered by a sprawling, slow-moving river and beautiful trees along with palm trees, which is one of the major kingdom revenues that sustain the good people of the land. The people of Atala knows how to enjoy themselves and have fun, and they love their land so much. They also love adventures and trying out new things. One such person is Chika. Chika was the quiet type. He was the kind of child who preferred to watch birds on power lines rather than argue with other children. He did not talk too much. He did not fight. He simply observed. That was why whenever he asked a question, adults listened, because he only spoke when it mattered. Chika lived with his grandmother, Mama Adaku, a woman whose back was bent like a bow, but whose voice still carried the thunder of her youth. She was small, wrinkled, and walked with slow, measured steps. But whenever she told the story, her eyes sparkled like lanterns filled with fireflies. For years, Chika noticed that there was a wooden box hidden under her bed, wrapped in a red cloth. He had seen it only once, by mistake. That day, Grandma had sent him to sweep her room while she cooked. As he swept under the bed, his broom hit something hard. When he reached under the bed and pulled the red cloth, a cold feeling gripped him. The moment he touched it, Grandma stormed in. "Chika!" She barked with a voice that shook the windows. Chika froze. Grandma rushed to him, snatched the red cloth from his hands, and pushed the box further under the bed as if it was a poisonous snake. "Never touch that thing again," she warned, breathing heavily. "Do you hear me?" "Yes, Grandma," the boy said, frightened. Grandma held his shoulders and stared into his eyes. "That mask belongs to something older than our world, something that must not be awakened. Promise me you will never go near it again." "I promise," Chika whispered. But that day, the seed of curiosity was planted, and seeds always grew. 2 years later, the school announced Cultural Day, a day when all students would dress in traditional attire, bring cultural symbols, and perform dances from their tribes. The school hall buzzed with excitement. Students argued about who would bring the best costume, the best drum, the best dance. Every classroom was filled with plans and loud discussions. But Chika had nothing special. He had no costume, except a faded wrapper. He had no drum. He had no flute. His grandmother lived on a small pension. Life was simple, not extravagant. So when his classmates teased him, "Chika, what will you bring?" Maybe he would bring broomstick, or he would dance like a hungry chicken. He said nothing, but their laughter burned inside him. That night, he sat on his bed, thinking. His eyes drifted to Grandma's room, to the red cloth, to the forbidden box. He tried to resist the thought. He remembered Grandma's warning. Her voice still echoed. "Never touch it. It belongs to something older than this land." But the desire to prove himself grew stronger. He wanted something unique, something unforgettable. He wanted one moment, just one, where he would shine like the others. Silence filled the house. Grandma was already snoring lightly. Chika tiptoed to her room. His heart pounded. He knelt beside the bed, reached under, and pulled out the wooden box wrapped in a red cloth. It felt heavier than he remembered, as if something inside had grown over the years. When he opened the box, his breath caught. Inside was a carved wooden mask, dark, ancient, and strangely alive. Its eyes were hollow, its mouth twisted in a mysterious grin. Red and white markings crossed the surface like lightning scars. Chika swallowed hard. This will impress everyone," he whispered. He closed the box gently and crept back to his room. He didn't know it yet, but by taking that mask, he had disturbed something that had slept for decades. something that was now awake. The sun rose bright and cheerful the next morning. Cultural day had arrived. Students marched into school proudly like peacocks. Some wore glowing beads, others carried spears, drums, or beautifully patterned wrappers. The air smelled of roasted groundnuts, dust, and excitement. Chika wore a simple white shirt and black shorts, but his backpack was heavier than usual. Inside it, the mask. He felt nervous, but every time he considered turning back, he imagined his classmates mocking him. The embarrassment pushed him forward. When he reached his classroom, everyone stared at him. "Chika, did you bring anything? Or you came empty-handed as usual?" Chika smiled quietly and tapped his backpack. "I brought something," he said. Some of the students shrugged, others laughed. They did not know what he had. Even he did not know what he carried. During break time, the students gathered in the backfield. Many had already shown off their items. Drums had been beaten, flutes had been played, some had even done short cultural dances. But when someone shouted, "Chika, what did you bring? Bring it out!" a crowd gathered around him. Chika felt sweat on his neck. What if Grandma found out? What if the teacher seized it? But his desire for recognition overwhelmed his fear. He opened his backpack slowly. The moment the mask appeared, a hush fell over the children. They stared. No one laughed anymore. The mask was different, eerie, powerful, too real. "Wear it," a boy shouted. "Yes, wear it so we can see. Are you scared? Maybe it belongs to your village's witch doctor. Put it on." Their voices became a chant. "Wear it, wear it, wear it." Chika's hands were shaking, but he lifted the mask to his face. The moment the mask touched his skin, a cold wind blew across the entire school compound. Books fell from desks, windows rattled, chairs trembled, the flagpole whined. Children gasped. "What is happening? Who opened the gate? Why is the wind like this? Is it raining? Why is the sky dark?" Chika tried to remove the mask, but it refused to come off. His small body stiffened, his knees bent, his arms stretched, his feet began to move on their own. Then the ground began to vibrate. Dum, 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 dum. Drum beats. Loud, deep, ancient. But there were no drummers, no drums anywhere. Yet the sound shook the buildings. "Masquerade! Masquerade!" someone screamed, and before their eyes, Chika transformed. He moved with the precision, speed, and power of a full-grown adult masquerade, leaping, spinning, stamping, shaking dust from the ground. His voice, no longer his, roared like thunder. "Bring me my drummer!" Children fled in every direction. Teachers ran from the staff room. The headmaster dropped his folder and fell to his knees. "Holy Spirit, take control! Holy Spirit, take control!" he cried. Some children climbed trees. Others hid behind classrooms. Some fainted. But Chika, no. The masquerade continued dancing with furious energy. The mask had awakened and it wanted something. The masquerade chased no one, but its presence was terrifying enough. Sand rose around it like a small whirlwind. Electricity crackled in the air. The sky dimmed even though it was still morning. Teachers gathered in fear. "What is this? Is it a joke? This is not ordinary. This boy is possessed. Who will go near him? Not me." The headmaster, shaking, tried to approach. "Chike, Chike, remove the mask." The masquerade turned to him slowly. "You dare speak my name?" the voice thundered. The headmaster ran back so fast that his hat flew off his head. The masquerade lifted its wooden arm toward the sky. The wind stopped. The ground stilled. The drumming halted abruptly like a stopped heartbeat. Then the voice declared, "Bring me my drummer." Confusion spread. "Drummer? What drama? Who was he talking about? The teachers began whispering nervously. Maybe it is talking about someone from the village. This thing is not from this world. We should call the police. No, the police will make it worse. We should call a pastor. We should call a native doctor. We should call parents. Yes, parents, someone shouted. Call Chika's grandmother. At that moment, the masquerade's voice shook the compound again. Bring me the woman who stole the mask. Everyone froze. The woman who stole the mask. Chika's grandmother. Mama Adaku heard the commotion from 2 streets away. By the time she reached the school gate, people were gathered outside, afraid to go in. Mama Chike, don't enter, oh. There is danger inside. Your grandson, he transformed. It is not him again. There is a spirit in him. But Grandma pushed through. Inside the compound, she saw the masquerade dancing aggressively, dust spiraling around his feet, children crying from behind windows. The moment the masquerade sensed her, it stopped dancing. The air became still. The mask turned slowly toward her. Grandma's walking stick slipped from her fingers. No, she whispered. It cannot be. The voice boomed. Adaku. Her knees grew weak. It had been nearly 50 years since she last heard that voice. A voice that belonged to someone she once loved. Tears gathered in her eyes. She took a trembling step closer. Chike, my child, she whispered. But the masquerade snapped sharply. The child is not here. Only I am here. The teacher stepped back in fear. Students peeked from behind pillars. Only the grandmother was brave enough to step forward. She lifted her chin. I know who you are, she said. The masquerade hovered slightly above the ground. Then speak, it commanded. And what happened next revealed secrets buried for half a century. Grandma swallowed hard before she spoke. Before you were born, she began, our village held a sacred festival every 7 years. Students and teachers listened, frozen in fear. In that festival, a young man was always chosen by the spirits to be the drummer of the great masquerade. That drummer was special. His drum controlled the movement of the masquerade. Without the drummer, the masquerade could not dance. The masquerade's eyes glowed brighter. Grandma continued. When I was a young girl, I fell in love with the drummer. Gasps echoed around the compound. He was kind, strong, handsome. His name was Ogwefi Ikena. He was chosen to be the drummer for the sacred masquerade at the last festival before the war. Her voice broke. We planned to run away together. He did not want to be bound to the spirits anymore. He wanted a normal life with me. The masquerade's voice boomed. You told him to abandon his duty? Tears streamed down Grandma's face. Yes, she said softly. I did. And on the night we planned to flee, he disappeared. Students exchanged glances. Teachers murmured. Grandma breathed shakily. The villagers said the masquerade took him as punishment. Some said he ran away. Some said he was swallowed by the river. No one knew the truth. She wiped her tears. I searched for him for months, years even. I never found him. The masquerade lifted its staff. You forgot him. Grandma shook her head violently. No, I never forgot him. I loved him more than my own life. But I was young and afraid. The elders ordered the mask to be hidden. They said the spirits were angry. They told me to stay away. Her voice cracked. But I kept the mask. I kept it so that if he ever returned, he would know I did not abandon him. I kept it because it was the only thing left of him. Silence. Heavy. Painful. Ancient. Then the masquerade spoke in a trembling tone that echoed both anger and sorrow. But you never spoke his name again. Grandma sank to her knees. Tears poured down her face. Ikenna, she cried. Ikenna, Ikenna, my love, I never stopped thinking of you. The air vibrated. The drums resumed, slowly, softly, dum, dum, dum. Not fierce this time, but mournful. The masquerade lowered its head, and for the first time since it appeared, it stopped dancing. The voice that came from the mask was gentler now, almost human. You are not the reason he vanished, it said. Grandma gasped. Teachers leaned forward. Students held their breath. What do you mean? Grandma whispered. A cold breeze passed through the compound. The masquerade lifted its staff and tapped the ground once. Boom. A faint shimmering image appeared. The image of a young man beating a drum near a shrine in the forest. That night, the masquerade said, a terrible curse fell on the village, a curse meant to destroy everyone during the festival. Gas echoed. Ikenna learnt of it before anyone else. He knew the only way to break it was to give himself to the spirits. Grandma's hands flew to her mouth. No, she whispered. He sacrificed himself, the masquerade continued. Not for duty, not for tradition, but for you. Grandma fell apart, sobbing uncontrollably. He asked the spirits one thing before he died, the masquerade said. That someone, anyone, would speak his name again. For 50 years, no one had. Not one person. Not even Grandma, who buried her pain so deeply, she thought silence would help her forget. The masquerade's voice softened. He loved you, Adaku. The grandmother cried into her palms. The teachers wiped tears from their eyes. Even the children, though frightened, felt the weight of the moment.
The masquerade turned its glowing eyes toward Chika's trembling body. The child carried the mask with pure heart, it declared. He awoke the forgotten. He restored a name lost in silence. The drums fell silent. The dust sank. The wind calmed. The mask loosened itself. Chika collapsed into his grandmother's arms, weak but alive. The masquerade's form began to fade like morning mist. Before it disappeared completely, its voice echoed one last time. The child shall walk with favor. The drummer is at peace. Then it was gone. Just like that, the school compound fell into a stillness so deep it felt sacred. Chika walked later in the school clinic. His grandmother sat beside him, holding his hand. "Grandma," he whispered, "I'm sorry." She smiled weakly. "My child, you have done something even the elders could not do. You brought peace to a wandering spirit." The headmaster rushed into the room, still shaking. "Chika," he cried, "are you all right? My boy, are you okay? Are you normal now?" Chika nodded. The headmaster fainted dramatically. Word of the event spread through the entire village before nightfall. People came to the school to see the boy who had carried the mask of the sacred drummer. Some called him blessed, some called him chosen, some called him the boy who woke the ancestors. But everyone agreed on one thing: Chika became a legend, the boy who brought a masquerade to school. That evening, Grandma took Chika to a small shrine in the forest. They buried the mask beneath an ancient tree. She whispered Ikena's name 3 times. A gentle wind blew, warm and comforting. Chika held her hand. "Grandma," he said softly, "will the masquerade come again?" "No," she smiled. "Some spirits only wait for the truth. Once they have it, they rest." She looked up at the moon. "And now he rests." Please let us know where you're watching from. Leave a comment below. We love to hear from you. Please like the video and share with your family and friends. Please also click the subscribe button so we can bring more videos to you. Thanks for being part of us.